Hey, yo, 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 hello, people. What's up, Nick? Carew, Scores? Oh my god, everyone is here. The whole gang is gathered. Is everything working now? Hello, hello, hello. Yep, nice. Ooh, but the Spotify is a bit louder than my voice. Gang, gang shit. There we go, that should be. That should be okay. Are you going to look me in here?
Or do you want to listen while I watch the Kardashians?
No, I don't want to listen to the
Oh,
Kardashians.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna
Welcome
turn
to
up the
All Things
volume a bit.
Scottish. Our slogan is, if it's no Scottish, it's
I
crap!
thought that's what you wanted.
No.
I thought that was what you wanted. Bitch. Hello,
Love you.
Ström.
Oh my god. Look at how cool you are. Three stream streak. Yo. She's not a waif. She's the wife. Oh my gosh. Alright. What is happening here even? Alright, yeah, I'm here in Satisfactory. Uh this is my oil farm that I'm trying to build. I'm trying to make it nice. So y'all are gonna have to live with me here for a little while. So I gotta fix my oil farm. But my hope is to create a new base today. So you'll see me build a new base. Because most of the game I've just been like panicky building. Just like, oh, I gotta get this to work. Oh, I gotta have these materials. Ah. So I was thinking like, oh, I can create a new base, actually make a nice base where everything is ordered properly, and I can show the fans on the stream. How is everyone, by the way? How's Carew? How's Nick? How's Stony? The lack of trees is nice. Man, I've been cutting down so many trees in this game. Overall. We're gonna listen to my liked songs, by the way, so it's gonna be hella confusing. I'm bingo chilling. What is bingo chilling? What is bingo chilling? Hey, yo. Alright, no, this one we actually want to keep. I think. Let's see. This one we can remove though. So I'm redesigning my old place here. Alright. Ad is over. Hey, welcome back, ad viewers. Sorry for forcing you on to watch an ad. You said I like to say listening to my playlist Paranoid Schizophrenia on a playlist week. Nice. Because I constantly add new shit to my liked songs as well. Rah. Smell you later, masturbator. You. Alright, what the fuck are we gonna do with the smokeless powder here? We can let it be there for now, I guess. I got a rifle here as well, because I'm cool. Bra, bra, bra. I unlocked the fucking jetpack a while ago, which I'm really happy about. I mean, the playlist I started earlier was EDM, but just now I queued a couple of rock songs and Joji. Don't know what genre, but Joji in. Nice. Alright. Ah! Ooh, no! There we go. Alright, and we gotta have a merger here. Conveyor merger, just a normal merger, I think. Mark 4. There we go. Oh my gosh, enemy fixed the bot. Yeah, I think he wrote something about it on the Discord. Or maybe it was just in the development chat that you don't have access to. But yeah, he's been working on it. Trying to make it better. Yeah, that's gonna annoy the fuck out of me if this power line's gonna go through there. What if I just place one there? And then I pull it underneath here. Yeah, that's right. It's good stuff. Pepe Badass. Ooh, nice song, Nick. Good choice. I'm picturing the emote playing even though you don't have it. Good, good. Use your imaginations when you lack proper stuff. Well, that's too far away. Alright, we're gonna see here. Nick is just taking over the Spotify now. Look at me. I am the DJ now. So it can technically reach up here. Which means... yeah, exactly. So we gotta place it like there, I think? I wonder if this is gonna work at all. Haha! Indeed. There you go. Oh shit, and that's the last of the fuel as well, the package fuel. Whoop. Nice. Alright. That means we can actually continue the build here properly. I've just been like moving the materials I had here before to like containers that are just out of the way. I'm gonna have to deal with that later as well. Do you know Filthy Frank? I've heard the name before, but I don't think I've heard the actual songs by this Frank the Filthy. Oh no, if it's a YouTuber, I don't know who it is. No. I'm really bad at YouTubers as well, so. Sorry. I'm gonna. We need like a fluid buffer. Yoji is the same guy. Yoji and Filthy Frank are the same guy, is what you're saying. Was huge on YouTube like 10 years ago. Sorry, typing is hard. Sorry, that's funny. That's so funny. Alright, I'm gonna get the Mark II ones. We got the industrial fluid buffer or tank. Why aren't y'all working? What the fuck is up, bro? Why aren't you pumping in the oil? Oh, okay. Fucking annoying. No, it's like still not doing anything. Hello, X-Gamer. Vibe. Oh wait, so it's not on because I need to have some place to place the resin as well, right? Just gonna climb up here. No? Have you connected everything? Yeah. Like, I got output connected. Wait. It's... Don't tell me it's facing the wrong way. It's facing the wrong way, right? Well, there you go. Production, refinery. Yeah. It was facing the wrong way. Of course. Yeah. That's embarrassing. It's kind of embarrassing. But hey, I'm a cutie patootie at least. And that's the most important part here, I feel. Because I was like, hey, it's pumping oil. Why is it not adding oil to the thing? Right, we're making fuel here. Now it's working. Yows. Good. And you are pumping? Good. Fixit would have you fired for not being productive enough. Oh, for sure. For sure. Like, I'm really happy playing this game, but I also know that I'm not doing things optimally at all. Fuck. What? Like, I know there's something to be made out of the resin. Just don't remember what. I'm just gonna place a refinery here to check. Oh, right, yeah, polymer resin can make fabric. So we're definitely gonna use that one. We don't need to grab you. What did I not get a notification? I don't know, man. I know nothing. I don't know anything. We gotta build a water extractor. Overlapping. Your mom's overlapping. Egger. Where's my cool ass Mark III one? There you go. Right. I mean, if we're gonna do that, we could just as easily just connect it immediately. There we go. Hey, Miss Frankenstein! What atrocities are we committing today? Same ones that we always do. We're gonna break all the child labor laws. No, we won't. How you doing, Frankie? Roar. Crimes Against Humanity for the horrible optimization. I mean, maybe. Technically. Who knows? Let's see. Fucking logistics. Boop, 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 boop. I'm just gonna place you there. Gonna place you... What, like... There? Yay! And now it's making... It should make polyester fabric. I could also make, like, residual rubber. But you can make so much rubber anyway. Making fabric would be better. Sounds villainous and appropriate. Quite so, quite so. And my plan was to build myself a new main base today, but I'm kind of stuck dealing with my my oil field. We're gonna grab as much as we can. Alright, you're making, or you're containing fabric. You know what? We're gonna... Whoop. Zoop. My factories might not be the best, but what the hell is this? What the fuck do you mean, what the hell is this? Artwork is what it is. Let's see here. It's a work in progress. Is what it is. Is this straight? It's about to be on the Geneva checklist, is what it is. My favorite tidbit is that Canada is the main reason the Geneva Conventions exist. Fucking Canada of all countries. No. Alright. Nice. We're mixing products here. That's dope and cool and also awesome. Every overtly nice entity are guaranteed to have some hideous skeletons in the closet. Oh, for sure. Oh, hey, hi there, bud. So sorry about that. So how about we just ignore that one, eh? Where's my messages sending twice? Ain't doing that. Might be just a little bit of lag in the chat or something. Happens sometimes. Alright, so the things we can produce here at the oil fields are getting merged up here, and we're sending them over to the delivery station down there. Let's see. Let's make sure it's all correctly made now as well. Correct. You know what I mean. Could I technically have one there? Could that work, maybe? I want to make turbo fuel. So we need fuel and compacted coal. Motherfucker. Yeah, that's not going to be enough room. Is it enough room? No, it's going to clip through, and I don't like it when it clips. Alright, we're just going to remove all this then. We also need to figure out how to get the compacted coal down from where it's at up here. Also, welcome to my coal-powered plant. It's just... Also the delivery of fucking black powder, so I can make smokeless powder. Oh, we could actually replace this whole thing with compact cowl. Compacted cowl. Stupid foam, probably. Alright, you're making compacted coal. We're gonna change you to compacted coal too. Jesus fucking Christ, this is a lot of black powder. The fuck am I gonna do with all that? I kind of want to like build a whole thing where we make coal into compacted coal overall, so that all the coal being sent down to my coal power plants will be compacted coal as well. But right now, we are just going to focus on getting our turbo fuel set up. Make bomba with powder. I mean, I think I have a cluster Nobelisk somewhere here. Yeah, there we go. Why can't I switch the... There we go. Ha ha ha! Bigger bomb. No, oh jeez. Let's not have a bomb in our hand. Fuck me. Alright, so we have a bunch of smokeless powder and a bunch of black powder here. Let's just create one of these sexy little fuckers to get rid of what we have here for now. Chasing rainbows. Do we still have room in these stacks here? You're sending stuff here, right? Yeah. You got stuff there, but you ain't got stuff up there. Can I? No. I just wanna, yes, thank you. I just wanna get rid of this, and then we can force feed. Ah, god, fucking damn it! Why can't I move here? It's obviously enough room for me, asshole. Alright, so we're getting rid of the plastic into here. Two, three, four. Alright. We're gonna place this fucker there. Logistics conveyor 4. There we go. Your ass is too thick to go through. True. I have the thickest of booties. How's everyone doing today? I want to hear from all of you. How are we feeling? What have we been doing this fine Saturday? And how many war crimes do we want to commit? Teehee. I'm about to have goose. Oh, like your man is gonna come over. Yeah, nice. Oh, you're gonna eat goose. I thought you meant goose as in the Swedish cuddle. Well, I'm a fucking idiot, ain't I? Hey, look, compacted. Oh, it's like mixing compacted coal and black powder now as well. All right, cool. Do I have a smart splitter somewhere? Ah, fuck, I don't have one. Not much yet, but it's still early here, and all the war crimes. Ooh. Nice. Oh, speaking of war crimes, my new favorite song here. At least 3 war crimes that makes Israel look like this. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. 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 Sick, yo. Sick. Alright, so we're gonna get compacted coal from here. And we have fuel there. So if I want turbo fuel, I should place it like here or something? F-16. Something that makes Netanyahu go, ooh, that's a bit much. Sorry. But that is funny. Oh my gosh. Also, no, I would never do that. That's too much. I mean, I have a soul. The fuck do you mean you're clipping through something? Nice. Alright, so you're pumping normal fuel into here. And you want to make turbo fuel. I'm high on apple pie? What the fuck? But how are you even high on apple pie? I mean, that works, right? I miss you too, buddy. We're seeing each other online tomorrow, aren't we? For some D&D. We're virgins. D&D. Etc. etc. Security met me runway side. Let's see here, a packager. Stole myself an F-16. Alright, so we gotta grab some plastic from here to make, you know what it is? We have to make, the little things you have fuel in, canisters. Alright. Fuck's sake, right, I get stuck there, I forget. Alright, I'm gonna shove you right up there. Just... Oh yeah. Get in there. Oh yeah, get in there. Organization? No, logistics. It's always logistics. And we're sending that there. Yes. Alright, you did the thing? What thing did you do? Hours on this save? I can't believe this start typing. Fuck. I gotta check this. I think I have like 40 hours something on this game. But I've been letting it run passively a whole lot as well. Jeez. Alright, that's a good clip. That's a good clip. Only this save I'm on, I have 82 hours left. Nice. Nice. We like that, though. Gotta put in the hours. Let's grab that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go production constructor. What happened? Why did you make a weird sound, game? Straight up in there. And you want to make empty canisters. Yay! We're connecting you to there. Have we connected you yet? We have not. Good luck. Total playtime is almost 250 hours. I'm gonna enjoy some BF6 and waste my money on Battle Pass. Oh, jeez, dude. Alright. Yeah, like X Gamer said, good luck. Alright, just, no, fuck organization, industrial storage. I usually have an industrial storage as like a buffer between most things I create, just so I have somewhere to keep it, like any excess. Industrial fluid, there we go. Do. There we go. Yes, it's not actually clipping through anything. It's just like, oh, it's close to it. Of the world. At least it's not wasted time because I enjoy it. I don't perfectly balance everything. Nice. And now we're just making turbo fuel. Alright, I don't necessarily enjoy running conveyor belts on the ground, but like if it works, it works. Alright, we're gonna see if this does something useful. You're chugging along, you brave little engine, you. Packaged turbo fuel. How are you not receiving turbo fuel? Did you receive it? No. Do we have turbo fuel here? I heard this is better than sex. Is it true? I don't know about that. I don't think my wife would agree now. It says it's pumping turbo fuel in here. But it's not. It's just that it hasn't reached 2 yet. That is new on Twitch, that you can rewind the Twitch streams. You can. Let's go. Alright. Subs only, X-Gamer. I think it is, then you're doing sex. True. And I never do sex wrong. I am a master at it, you could say. Oh, sorry. So stupid. Let's see. Alright, so we're making turbo fuel. That's what I wanted most of all. Logistics. Let's do a stackable conveyor. Like here. See if... Nope, that does not work very well. Alright. YouTube chat is a fucking joke. Let's TV YouTube stream superior. I haven't streamed on YouTube in forever, and I never really I'm never really active on chats on YouTube. No, we're doing that. There you go. Ah, big sexy. About you. Right, you're full of fuel. Awesome. You're creating as much turbo fuel as you possibly can. Really working your little heart out, aren't you? This one is still not getting anything. This one is getting all of it. Is it because this one is first? But it says there's stuff flowing through here. I don't get this at all. X-Gamer, help me. It can't be something as stupid as like, oh, it's a slight incline. See, like it's pumping turbo fuel here. You can see turbo fuel, current amount, not very much. But in the packager, nothing. Like I got the canisters, but no turbo fuel. Warum? Fuck off. The roof is up. It's got power and everything. Ah! If I just do this. Yeah, it's all, it's... You're making turbo fuel here, right? Yeah. I mean, it's also pumping into the fluid buffer here. Maybe I need to remove this. Everything's going to the tank. Yeah, it was. Holy shit. Annoying. That's super annoying. Fuck it, then we're just getting rid of the tank, I guess. Ah! Pulse. So it would have filled up the tank first, and then... If you want a tank, you have to have it in between the two. Oh, gotcha, yeah. Like this one here. This one's like, you make the fuel here, tank, and then shoves it further. I must travel. Let's see. I didn't know Tom Morello made these songs, by the way. I recently found out, and I'm just like, oh, how have I missed this? No, that's just normal coal. I want the compacted coal. Would I must travel? Cannot see. Na 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 na. Yeah, otherwise we'll fill the whole tank first. Yep, gotcha. Thank you, X Gamer. Alright, I'm just gonna build another one here just to see what things we can make. We're making plastic and rubber, and with the heavy oil residue, we're making petroleum coke and fueling a bunch of other coal power plants. We're making fuel, and we're turning that immediately into turbo fuel. And the byproduct there, the polymer resin, we're making into polyester fabric. Smokeless powder might be the one we need to work with here. But I mean, I have a fuck ton of smokeless powder, and I don't know what I'll need, how much smokeless powder I'll need in the future. Shit, we might actually be like okay with this at the moment. Jesus Christ, that's a lot. I swear to God I will murder someone. I think I should like just create a... Where is it? An awesome sink and just dump all of these extra things in there. Maybe not the smokeless powder, because that I might need someday. And the rubber I will need. This shit though. Polymer resin. Oh my gosh. Alright, we're actually gonna build an awesome sink. Splat. There you go. Get rid of that shit. Make it useful. Alright, cool. Why would you need so much fabric? I just enjoy having it, honestly. Just being able to have stuff is kind of nice. Maybe I don't need to mix it with the rest of the stuff though. We can still keep the thing up there. Dun, 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 dun. That's just normal coal. Alright, we're just gonna check the things over here first before we head back to base. Whee! Smack, smack. Whee, whee, smack, smack. Because I think updating the coal power plants is going to be another... I'm going to do that another time. Alright. Yeah, so... It's like sending compacted coal as soon as it gets it. We could place more. Containers here. Splurt. Split. Split. There you go. And we'll just grab a bunch of compacted coal there. Having different items on the same conveyor. I usually don't do it, but like for the stations here where I'm just like, well, I gotta pick it up somewhere. Oh yeah. I'm really happy about this area, actually. Can't say this isn't pretty. There's like a fuck ton of water pumps, a fuck ton of coal powered plants, and it's going two directions here. It's like coal is coming towards me, being fed into the power plants, and water is going from me, going into the power plants. I am impressed by myself, I gotta say. Alright, we're gonna grab that, and we're gonna... Because I've never used turbo fuel before. Like, I'm streaming... The things I'm streaming now, all of this, I've never got to before in Satisfactory. Whoa, okay, turbo fuel is badass. You would argue with that one? You'd be wrong to argue then. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Oh my God, turbo fuel is amazing. New territory, huh? Yeah, new territory. Also, look at how much just normal fuel I have. Just... I filled them. I don't know what to do with all this packaged fuel. Wait, like, I guess I could unpack it. Make it into normal fuel. And then make turbo fuel out of all that. I'll never use it, right? It's not gonna happen. Let's see. No, we're grabbing some just rubber. All right, I'm gonna drive back home. Y'all gonna see my place. I recently unlocked the geyser things as well, so I got some extra power production there. I might go over to just burning oil as well, because that feels like a very efficient thing to do. It is really nice to have extra stuff, for sure. I haven't opened that one yet because I don't remember why. I think it needed some material I didn't have. If I could, let's see. What did I not have? Repairs needed. Circuit board. Yeah, fuck that shit. I'm not gonna waste circuit boards on a hard drive right now. Boom, boom. Oh my god. Loving the turbo fuel. I have about 24,000 modular frames in storage. Nice. Nice. That is awesome. Oh, also I haven't been back to base in a little while. Also, if you think this looks shabby, you're gonna hate how the base looks. I'm like making I'm gonna make more stuff. Blow up the piss rocks. You can blow them up. The rocks that create poison. I don't want to do that. I'm environmentally conscious. I don't want to ruin too much of the local flora and fauna. But the piss rocks. Maybe I like piss rocks. What do you know, huh? And this is my crystal production place. It definitely needs updating, but it's like it serves a purpose right now. Like it works. You just drive here, you load, you drive away again. Got some power generation over there as well. Whee! Vroom, 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 vroom. I really hope turbo fuel will make my tractor faster as well. And also, like, I have built the bigger tractor. It's just that I've fucked up my base so bad that the bigger tractor can't leave the base and come back in where I need it to come back in. So that's why we're gonna build a new factory today, like a new main place. Matter of factories. Nice. Whee! But yeah, look, just look at that's my copper. I'm just pulling copper stuff from there. Got some iron production here. Iron production there. And up here I have all of my iron production basically. Got some shitty energy stuff over here. And here we have the main factory floor. See? Isn't that pretty? Isn't that super pretty? What do you mean the pain? Come on. Let's see. But yeah, it doesn't look good. It's so all over the place. I've just been building on and on based on like, oh, I need this right now. And I don't know where to place it, so I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just place it somewhere. Oh, we can actually fuel this one. There you go. I mean, I hope you've seen worse, but at the same time, this is pretty bad. So, I got a bunch of stuff here. I could just start building the new base and then like sort as I go, I guess. Yeah. This is a really good song, yeah, I agree. I was surprised that it's not JT music. A lot of crates. Whee! Fucking loving turbo fuel. So yeah, and over there I have my steel production. And Caterium production there. This guy does the same type of music. They've collabed with each other too. Nice, nice. Yeah, and this one's just continually creating stuff that I don't really need anymore, honestly. But I'm like, why the fuck not? It's a lizard doggo eat lizard doggo world out there. We got some computers here. Got a couple circuit boards. The next one is even better in my opinion. Nice. What do you need? Oh, we got modular frames and stuff. Okay, so it's this one. That's automated wiring. Why is that taking so long? What aren't you getting? Cables. How the fuck are you not getting cables? Alright, so you're a problem. We're just gonna improve capacity on that shit. Yeah. Let's just go with everything here. Where are my batteries? There they are. Yeah, I'm gonna overclock it so hard. Splat. And then we're gonna overclock this birch as well. I just recently understood that you can like put Summers loops inside the factory stuff to increase output. And I feel super fucking stupid for not understanding that before. Yuck. Alright, let's go. That's only a thing since 1.0. Oh, cool. Yeah, we got one coupon so far. Products from the awesome shop. Alright, so my thinking is that I want to build a new factory and main base over here. Because this is like a huge area. It's near all the things I like and need and want. And it's fairly flat. But then like, I definitely have to bomb the fuck out of those rocks. Remove some stuff. And that fucking rock is gonna be in the way, but I think what I can do there is build like an observation tower on top of it or something. Well. Wait, can I just...
Sean the non-believer! Sean! Sean!
Hey, bestie! Alright, let's see what happens. Yay! Everything! Go boom boom! Oh, come on. What are the fucking cluster bombs even useful for then? You must comply. Oh, fuck's sake. Alright, I'm gonna go back and build some more bombs. Nobelisk. That's just normal fucking black powder. It's a barrel of nuclear waste. And then we just need smokeless powder for the cluster nobelisks. Some way. I mean, not that much, honestly. Like I've discovered oil now. I remade the oil fields, rebuilt them so I can have turbo fuel. But this is like the furthest I've ever gotten in the game for sure. No business, I think you can join Bestie if you want to. I'm gonna try to build a new base. I want to optimize it for use of trains and stuff as well. All right, 100 of these. That should be enough, I feel. Offering Bestie, not me. She's already joined once, that's the thing. I think she's offline sitting there. Yeah, there she is. Lyalvi. Bah, bah. Don't know what I want to play today. That is such a good problem to have, I feel. Alright, I think I want to get rid of like this long ass thing. And I'm not talking about my penis. Wait, that actually has 3 connections already? That's annoying. Wait, no, oh shit, I'm not online, as in I'm invisible right now. There we go. Should I... Ooh, I could just place this here. It's actually not a bad idea. Haven't checked out Nightingale since their last big update, so I might check that. Ooh, nice. Do it. Just gonna turn off my mods. Nice. Wire too long. Pfft. More like my dick too long. No, come on. Like, there's no way I can... Oh, shit. I think XGamer just joined. There's no way I can, like, delete these big-ass stones, right? How do I change ammo here? You had your first shift at work? Nice. How was it? I'm just gonna... Yeah, it does nothing. How was your first shift? Was it fun? Are the people nice? Kaboom! Brain dead, so nice. It didn't sit down for the whole shift. Ooh, that's good though. Enjoy that. Hey, X-Gamer! He's blue. People were nice, not that social either. So happy. Sweet! That is really, really nice, actually. Alright, so this is definitely gonna be, like, the center, then. Just gonna create... Like, how the fuck am I gonna clear all this stupid brush and stuff? I'll just have to chainsaw it, I guess. Let's go with this. Let's go with that. Dun, 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 dun. So easy job, brain dead, and don't have to be too social. That's really, really nice. And you're like working nights there as well, right? No. Oh, come on. It's not that flat then. It's all I ever wanted in a job right now. I haven't been booked on any night shifts yet though. It's nice that it's a good for now, because like first impression, pretty important. No, balls. I want to stand up here. No. There you go. Nice. And now I can just build a wall here as well. Dope. Alright, this is probably going to be our starting point. We're just going to literally lay a foundation right now. I'm thinking for the new base that I'm going to do it in levels. Instead of like a big plane like I have over there, it's going to be levels. And ground level is going to be receiving materials and storing materials. So then I can use conveyor lifts to lift it up to the second level where we can have like basic production, advanced production, and then the most advanced production. So you just like go a level up each time you need to produce something. That's my thought at least. I don't know how it's gonna work. If it's actually gonna be feasible. Q Avicii levels. Oh, you can actually do that yourselves now as well. Enemy fix the bot. Oh, okay, sorry. Sorry, I didn't understand the joke, but it was a fun joke. Messing a little bit. It's good. You should mess with me. See, Stu liked it. He thinks you're funny. Because, like, I'm thinking over there... Like, I can drive down there and get to the oil field and shit. So obviously I want trucks coming in from there as well. So we're gonna have, like, a truck stop reception area here, I think. Maybe? I gotta make sure to have, like, through thoroughfares as well. So that like if I need to drive my truck in here, I'm gonna be able to drive it out over there as well. Yeah. There you go. Bro ain't reading in-game chat. What the fuck? Just grabbing some stuff if you don't mind. Yeah. That's true. Any extra fuel on ya? I got like 102 turbo fuel. If you want some. I don't know how to drop stuff though. Oh, that's how you drop stuff. Hello. I am under you. Yes, you are. Ah, fuck's sake. There we go. All right. I think I'm gonna need more metal plates. Good thing I have a fuck ton of them somewhere. Really love this song too. Also, like, trigger warning for anyone who is annoyed by chaotic building. 'Cause I can't focus for shit, as you can see. Like, I had an idea to start with, and now I'm cutting trees all of a sudden. Like, it's this is what it's gonna be like. I'm terribly sorry. Oh, trees to cut. Ouch. Simisear escaped. Oh no. Am I gonna wait? Let's see how we're gonna do this. We need silica to build windows. Let's go. Speechless about this infrastructure. Yeah, nothing makes sense here, man. Nothing makes sense. I needed silica, right? That's what I wanted. To make them windows. There we go. Let's go. See, so what I could do later then is just like merge this level with whatever I have up here. What is he doing? He's trying to build? Shoot him! Shoot him! I'm gonna grab some more steel plates as well, because pretty sure I'm gonna need them if I'm gonna continue building. Protection. Natural disaster. Alright. I'm definitely gonna be mending this floor over and over in places. Kidding me, I don't have enough concrete? It's just up here. Next to the concrete as well. My natural disaster. Jesus, I'm producing concrete really, really slowly too. Let's see. What happens if I put, yeah, that's gonna just go through instead. What we could do is, no, never mind. Like, it's clipping through a little bit, but that's fine, I think. Just a tiny bit of clipping is okay. Fuel. Yeah. I'm just gonna put glass all around this thing right now. Just because, like, this is kind of how I will have it later. Not fully like this, obviously. But there will be a glassed area here. I think I'm gonna use that as like my middle pillar and put in an elevator somewhere around here. I think that's gonna be pretty decent. What is up with your power? Damn. What do you mean, what is up with my power? Like, is it too much or too little, or? 'Cause I've blown fuses over and over and over again early games, so whenever I find out where I can build power stuff, it's so unstable. Yeah, I don't know why. Happens. The next life. What was I gonna do? Ouch! I can't even shoot you. Oh. Very sad. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're gonna keep building here and try to start making stations that will receive material. There we go. That did hurt me. Oh, man, if I can find stuff so I can help. Yeah, that's why I'm building this new thing, so it's gonna be easier to find stuff. For me and for visiting friends. Like usually if you just find the mining rig, you can see where it leads to and you can find like for example with the cement, concrete. Let's see. I think we're gonna build ramps here now. There we go. Definitely don't need to go all over there. We could do this. Like at least I can build on the big ones here. Kind of feels stupid to have this here though. Like, would it be better to just have the stones? A little bit of natural environment. Maybe. Yo! Okay, he's cutting down trees. Nice. Honeycomb frame window. You just go like this. No. Like, if we're gonna have the rocks here, we were not gonna build anything on it. Because you can technically drive over them, and they'll be less of a hindrance than if we build barriers and shit here. So... train station. I really want to find out how you can build with trains and stuff as well. But yeah, we're gonna build a truck station somewhere here. Let's do one here. And let's name it like oil products or something. Oh Jesus, that's a big billboard. Missing materials? Yeah, I'm not gonna. Square sign 1 meter. I think display sign is the one I have, right? There we go. Select that icon. Oil products. And we're gonna change the name of this docking station to head out, play some Castle Crashers. Nice, love you too. Bye bestie. Bye bestie. Oil receiver. Coincidentally, oil receiver was my nickname in high school. I don't know what that would mean, really. Let's see here. Logistics. I'm gonna have a I'm gonna wanna have a smart splitter, so we need some AI stuff. Ooh. I'm trying to get better at taking breaks while streaming as well. So we've been going for an hour and a half now, so I'm thinking I'm nearing some type of break time. And we'll just take like a 5 to 10 minute breaky break. Where the fuck are the AI limiters? Are they over here? No. Are you here? Yes! There we go. Jesus. I don't know where anything is, man. Like if I understood this game better, if I knew the game better, I could at least like know exactly what things to make out of which things and plan my shit accordingly. But there's only so much I understand about this game. Alright, left output overflow only. Straight ahead is going to be like rubber. Well, alright, plastic, I guess. And right is going to be rubber. Purple. Alright. I'm also having, like, I have a thought that to make sure that it never gets, like, bogged up, I'm gonna have an overflow one out of all of my smart splitters, and they're gonna merge into one that goes into a, one of those things where I can recycle stuff for Fix-It tickets. So, like, if I have way too much of a thing, it'll just be moved away anyway. Okay, yeah, no, you shouldn't be placed there. Probably. Thing is, like, I kind of want to have conveyor belts go up. So just leave as much room on the floor as possible. Hey, Ducky. What's up, Ducky? How you doing? It's like I definitely want... I want one conveyor distributing fuel to all of these stations so that no matter where I am, I'll always get refueled. Rubber and plastic. Yeah, let's just go with the droplet. Fuck it. Oh, that's the background. I don't want a background. Rubber and plastic. What up? Yeah. How do you do that? I don't even know. Smack. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Could I have like a middle layer where I just have storage, and in there I'm just gonna do all the weird wiry things and shit, and it's gonna be so fucking ugly, but I'll never have to look at it again after I'm done. Ouchies. Fuck, I don't know. Ow. Wait, let's just build a wall real quick. Can you touch it? Oh, nice. And then I'm thinking like we're gonna place flooring up here. So this is gonna be the second level. What did you... He removed it. He took it away from me. How do you know where to place it though? Cool. Nice, nice, nice. Alright, so that's gonna... Yeah, exactly. That's gonna receive fuel from somewhere. Let's see, transport truck station. We can build another truck station like here, I guess, and make that into our fuel station So like this is where we dump fuel. Icon is gonna be that. Select icon. Fuel dump. There we go. Yeah, exactly. So we'd like dump fuel here. And then that'll go. No, wait, that one. How do I? Fuck. Wait, why can't I? Oh, there, thank you. That one's way sexier. There we go. And then you like split it from here or something. What? Why? Oh, so it's like double. Gotcha. I don't think we need double, we just need the one. And then splitters. That's what I'm thinking. Like, splitters makes life easier, in my opinion. Like, we'd place a splitter here. Oh, double splitters is what you're saying. And we have one there. And then we grab one of these fuckers right there. Yeah, alright. Will do. So now, if I dump fuel in here, it's going to redistribute it, or start redistributing it. And then we can continue to distribute it to other places as well. That's pretty nice. Yeah. So, no, but then what should happen is we bring. Oh fuck! Right, I'm an idiot. No, we need those because we're gonna bring the conveyors up to like here, something. Like we want them higher than the fuel one, so the fuel will be the ground, like the bottom layer of these fuckers. But then we'll need. Yeah, right. We need to have like another roof up there. Yeah. So we can have like ceiling mounts and shit. Oh, you're just building like another layer here. I was thinking we just pull them up in this layer and then you like add ceiling mount instead so it stays up there. Yeah. Exactly. Like so. Hmm. And then I would have to decide where to keep all the materials as well. So it'd have to be... Yeah, I don't know. Where should we keep all the materials? Should even be on this level. It should. Question is... You're on my head. You were on my head, yeah. Fuck, I don't know where I want stuff to be now. I think I want to move one of these power stations. Oh, shit. Oh, I might die. Oof, almost. There we go. There we go. Wire too long, asshole. There we go. Because then we can have more iron production there as well and stuff. You know what? I think I'm going to take a little break. And then we're going to get back to this. And we're going to decide on where to have... No, we're just going to continue building these stations so we know where to dump stuff. And then we're going to choose where it all ends up. Alright. I will be right back, gangsters. Have fun in the meantime. Hello, everybody. I'm back. In your ears. Making a cream. Sorry. Alright. Huh? Alright, so we got oil products coming from over there. I think we're gonna build one here for whatchamacallit. We're gonna grab that one first. For crystal stuff. Crystal and silica. Why not? That looks decent, right? Ooh, nice. Well done, X-Gamer, powering everything. Oh, that's so smart, just creating a small wall. Oh, that's so smart, mate. Fucking intelligent, you know? You say? You heard? Alright, so we have crystal and silica there. What else do we have from over here? Well, like crystal and silica here, we have rubber and stuff there, and fuel. I don't think there's like anything else we need from over here. Like if I ever need smokeless powder, I can just go get it. Wrong keyboard settings, whoops. What don't I have? Fucking rotors. I'm not fucking happy about it. This is a banger right here. We gotta increase volume. Oh shit, are all my rotors out? Oh no. Oh no. Because I've been creating too many motors. How the fuck are we gonna fix that situation then? There's just iron rods and screws. So if we just grab a bunch of iron rods, we can make it. Yeah, we need rotors. Rotors. That we need some screws. I'm just gonna make some screws. It's gonna take forever to create all those rotors. Let's see if we can't increase production. And maybe stop them from being sent away. They're already producing as much as they can. Well, then it's a speed problem, I guess. There we go. That should be really quick. Oh my gosh, Xgamer is helping. Yay. Okay, damn it, I need more stuff. Grandfather provides a dime. You'll never bloom. Come on down. Let the rot inside. Let the rot inside. Awesome stuff, Xgamer. Awesome stuff. And Father provides. Ready, you'll ever bloom. Let the rot inside. See, what a wonderful boy. He helps out the elderly and needy. Hey, Pixie! How you doing? How are you doing? Are you doing well? Are you doing fine? Are you doing okay, Annie? Hong Kong Kong. Okay. Oh my gosh. Are you getting any better, Pixie? Are you still super sick? Alright. We're doing what we can right now. Yeah, and it's creating rotors at a fast pace, so it's all good. And then when that's starting to get full, we can send it over to the motor section again. But for now, we're gonna continue creating our truck stations. Wait, no, wrong. It's like almost 2 in between each. Ducky! Ducky's been here the whole time. Oh, my eyes. Let's see, what could we have here? I have like steel, caterium, and fucking copper parts as well. And I have some SAM too. Things like I have a SAM production area kinda. I don't really need that much of it. I could just make a SAM production area over there. Yeah. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll do copper parts. Copper stuff. Daleks with you. Right, let me just check to see where this smart splitter is situated. So it's kind of there. You got crystal and silica. No, that's just crystal oscillator. Quartz crystal. And in the middle, silica. And here we'll just have the overflow. It's kind of where it's supposed to be. I'm thinking that we're just going to do this for now to make sure that we know where it's going. So we have like the layout of it. And with copper stuff, we have 3 different things. Hello?
Frida frågar om hon ska hämta oss 5:30 och så kan vi åka med henne till Ica och hämta pizzor och sånt.
Yes, sure. Absolutely. We're going to over to some friends and watching a movie later. So we're trying to plan it all. Where's the oil stuff? I'm running out of fuel. The oil stuff is where the oil fields are. How do I ping? It's over here. You can take the tractor, fill it up with fuel. Just so we have fuel here. And it's not like just normal fuel, I think. Just asking, there is oil in many places on the map. I've only found it in one place so far. Cause I'm fucking bad at this game. Let's see. Wire. And what's the other one? It's cable. There we go. Zoop. I wanna dance with somebody. Hate somebody. How the fuck did he place it there? Snap mode? Toggle build mode. Like something like that. Don't you wanna dance? Alright. We get another station here. What are we gonna place there, though? Right from the start. Dark kinda heart. Apologetic, so divine. Because like the Caterium wires are produced fairly nearby. I think we could just pull them from there. Same thing with the steel, actually. Also could be good to just have like, oh, this is where steel goes if you have any. Yeah. My God, I'm so tired of this. Next time I fish. I'm a hot goblin, little bit perfect, little bit problem. We got like 2 steel things. generally. Steel beam and steel pipe, and then overflow. Let's see, where can we place you? There. That is such a smart idea. Really happy X-Gamer showed me that. You don't need Mark IV belts for everything? Yes, I do. Oh, my coal is fucked up? Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm gonna redo the whole coal situation soon, anyway. Let's see, another truck station. Fuck, I need more rotors. Rotors! Blah, 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 blah. Wow, he replaced these? How dare he? Everything is super fast now. Like, why wouldn't I use Mark IV ones? Your coal plants keep running out of water. Oh, gotcha. That's why. Yeah, I think they're like the sections are too long for each. I need to redo each and every one of them. Alright. We're grabbing iron stuff here. Iron shit. There you go. Alright. There we go, and then we're gonna change this to specific outputs. Iron plate, iron rod, and screws. Stream music is way too loud. Oh shit, right, I forgot. Sorry. Jesus. I entirely forgot. Thanks for reminding me. Alright. So I think I kind of got this down now. I kind of want to leave room here, so if I need to expand, I can expand over there. We got iron, steel. Yes? Oh, Jesus. Thank you. Yay, you can hear me again. You got iron, steel, and stuff. Right. Knew it was too thick. And we put that up there. And we pull that there. Right, so now all our truck stops have power. And there's some semblance of order to it. I'm just thinking, where should we keep all our stuff? I kind of want it in, like, over here in a corner. Just so that it's kind of out of the way, but also when I start building the layers above, resources will come out from one end of the factory and not from fucking everywhere in the floor. She walked in naked, yes. You didn't see her, did you? No, no, you didn't. You can answer me truthfully. No, alright, good, good, good. But shit, yeah, she's taking a shower, so she just wanted to flash me before she jumps in the shower. Fucking A was obvious. Alright, okay, good. As long as it's just me being obvious and not you seeing my wife's boobies. The wifely boobies shan't be looked upon. Not even by me. Let's go. Wait, you know what? Maybe we don't want stuff here. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I appreciate your organization. Okay, so they're going to be receiving from the back. Sorry. So they can send it out the front. Missing steel pipe. Fuck. Run, run and fly. Oh, come on. Thought I would be able to fly through it, but no. Oh shit, right. I forget. There's no order to anything here. Stewart. We're just gonna build a ton of storage here. First and foremost. And we're gonna run these floors. Oh, come on. I missed a part of it. Come on. It's the constant back and forth. Don't tell him I'm back. Fresh on, no. There we go. What's poppin'? Shit, we got so many docking stations now. Like my first thought was to have one docking station and then a series of smart splitters. So like whatever I go get, I can just immediately dump into one place and it'll be fine. Nice. Thank you, Xgamer. Oh, wow. Nope. Who's? Oh my god. Nice. Dang, he builds real fast. It's insane. Genary Riot. Oh, fuck's sake. I need more encased steel beams. I think I'm awake for realsies now, maybe. Hey, Karoo! What's up? Did you have a good sleep? Ran out of concrete? Yeah. Concrete is difficult to get by now, for some reason. The dog I'm house sitting woke me at 4 a.m. Oh man. Hope it's a cute doggo, though. Who am I kidding? Of course it's a cute doggo. All doggos are cuties. Can't have a doggo that's not cute. Yay! Our brand new factory is taking shape. Put in a piece. jealous type, but you're Caesar and I'm Brutus minus that. It's a husky, so adorable as hell and sassy as hell. Love huskies. Apparently wanted to do that weird husky sassy growl thing. 4 a.m. That's what they be doing though. Oh yeah, I've met so many huskies in my life that you can just like get them going with nothing. Like you can make them start howling and shit. It's beautiful. Let's see. Is this gonna be correct? No. It is. Alright, then we're gonna remove all the rest. Fuck, we didn't need the one, I guess. Lift floor hole. Ah! More power shards? Oh. Yeah, on me. I got a bunch of power shards. I'll just drop them here. Wait, where did they go? Where did they go? I dropped them and I can't. Oh, wait, they're there. Power shards, 17 of them. This husky's pretty great. Though I live in a desert-like area, so I feel bad for him because I bet he's so hot. Yeah. I dated an American girl for a while, and one of her sisters had a husky in California. I was like, this might not be the best place to have a husky. But I also know she was far from the only one. Yeah. In Cali. But not in LA. They did end up moving to Washington State, though, so better weather for the husky there. Kurwa niad. Kind of there? No. Oh lord, not Cali. I'm glad our area at least isn't humid. If you're living in a desert-like area and it's not California, it has to be like Arizona. And if it's Arizona, then it's hot as fuck. I know this because I know a lot about the US. I'm a very well-traveled person, you know. I'm also fairly obnoxious, you know. I really liked being in Washington as well while I was there. They got so many good vegan restaurants and like vegan donut shops and shit. New Mexico's right next to Arizona, but not nearly as hot. Nice. Oh my god. New Mexico. Wait, that's like Albuquerque. That's Breaking Bad country. Oh my gosh. Do you make meth, Karoo? Is that your actual hustle? You're a meth maker and dealer? I knew it. Karoo confirmed as Heisenberg. Karoosenberg. Let's see. I'll just. Uh, wait, oh, fuck me. Let's see. There we go. That looks correct, right? Yas. Don't blow the cover, man. We talked about this. 100% Breaking Bad country. I definitely do not make meth though. Ah, shit. I'm so sorry. Meth is the fucking worst drug in the world. Wouldn't wish that on anyone. Let's go there. Not that close to them, so it's fine. Phew. Like everything I've heard about meth is just like it takes over your life. How the fuck am I gonna do this then? What the fuck? Why did it? I don't get this game at all at times. I don't want it to go all the way there. We do have a candy shop out here that makes blue rock candy. You like that candy? Of course you do. It's meth candy. Who doesn't love meth candy? Also known as Mandy. Oh, that doesn't work either. Fuck, I might have to move this slightly. Oh, by the way, Karu, I love your new setup that you have. Don't know if you moved houses or anything, or if it's just for the dog sitting gig. But it looks cozy. There we go. Rock candy is so good. I never enjoyed rock candy. Honestly, I think it hurts my teeth too much. It's too much like a rock. Is what I'm thinking. Did move houses. Ooh, nice. Love a new house. Alright, wait. There we go. Fuck, you know what? No. I'm just gonna... do this. There you go. Is it like a bigger house now? More affordable house? Love an affordable house. The fuck you on about, man? How is it not understanding what I want to do? Your heart beat to the beat of the drums. Not bigger per se, but a better living situation for me than I was in. Nice. 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 Better living situation is always better. That is the dopest shit. I really want to get a bigger place with the wife. We've been talking about how like, or I've been talking about how like, oh, we have too much stuff for the space we live in. And she totally agrees. And today we bought more stuff for for where we live. Yesterday we bought a dresser. Today we bought like a poof. You know, when you have your feet on. And we already have too much stuff. I'm just gonna blame her for everything from now on. It's just her fault. Beat to the beat of the drums. Oh no, wait, can we do this? Can we do this? The night, 'cause I'm gonna die young. Let me see if we can. A lot of that logic works out, right? We have too much stuff. Puts more stuff in house. It's not even a house, it's a smallish apartment. Oh, this is such a good song. He looks like he wants to chase me. Cop cuties, cute and on duty. Navy blue booties, go ahead and look me up. It's like slightly askew. Fraud and arson, now take me down to your station. I know one of the people in this chat that love to do arson, allegedly. What time is it? It's like 4:30 here. Our friend is picking us up in about an hour. So I'm gonna be streaming for like a couple more minutes. That sounds logical, right? I'm gonna stream for a couple more minutes. I would never play with a lighter and or matches. Don't teach the kids bad things, Stony. They gotta stay innocent. We're gonna remove these. The city I used to live in, just going over to someone's place and watching a movie wasn't really a thing you did unless you know you were hooking up with someone. Then you like went over to someone's place and was like, hey, we're gonna watch a movie. And that's how they would say it as well. Watch a movie. But in this new town that we lived in for a year and a half now, holy shit. Like, just getting together and watching a movie as a friend group is very usual, very normal, very cool. So we've done that a couple times. We watched the new Halloween movie not too long ago. With Michael Myers as the murderer. Not Austin Powers Michael Myers, obviously. Okay, shit. Like the worst thing with maybe having ADHD, I don't know. I'm not diagnosed. So I'm not gonna say I have ADHD, but I have a big problem with focusing on doing one thing and finishing that task before starting something else. Our home is usually filled with like half finished shit. My wife is going crazy. It also means like, here I should have done this before. I built 2 of them and was like, alright, now I'm gonna move on to something else. Instead of just committing. I also have plans, but I want to sit inside and play Battlefield 6 and watch Formula 1. That is allowed, Nick. You're allowed to do what the fuck you want. Live your life, man. Social conventions should not dictate your life. I love how like Nick is a very like modern, cool person, and then he's also a typical guy watching Formula 1. Like that is, to me, that's really weird. But I guess to each their own. Can't back out now. Leaving in 15 minutes. Modern guy meaning you're not a raging asshole. Basically. I think. Like, in my mind, a non-modern guy is someone who has quote-unquote traditional values. And I don't like those people. They can shove those traditional values right up their booty. Alright, oh my gosh. I can't keep it straight. You lack modern or traditional values. I know you do. You are Satan's spawn, young man. Alright, there we go. Yes. Also, I would argue watching Formula 1 is modern considering the absolute insane growth the sport has had in the last few years. I didn't know it's had insane growth in the last few years. Although I should have known, because, like, I've seen Monster Energy Drink with at least 3 different Formula 1 drivers. Like, I don't watch Formula 1, and even I know, like, oh yeah, those are F1 drivers. Holy shit, is Formula 1 modern now? Like, my stepdad, who's 80 plus, watches it. Religiously as well, I might add. 2 F1 drivers, 3 different chase, and 1 MotoGP rider. Okay, sorry, so MotoGP and F1. What's with the ceiling conveyor system? Oh, it's just I like being able to walk on the floor, so I'm just putting it up all up in the ceiling here, in the conveyor level. It's just personal taste, honestly. And it's all crooked as fuck. But you know, if it's in the ceiling, I don't need to look at how crooked it is most of the time. Because, like, it's Hamilton has one flavor, Lewis Hamilton. And I know him because he's vegan as well. And it's one other person that I saw the name, was like, oh, that's an F1 driver. The man has been doing bits in 4 wheels as well in the last couple of years. Hamilton is the one with 2. Lando Norris got 1 recently. Oh, Hamilton has 2 different flavors? Sorry, but why would you need 2 different flavors with your name on it? Come on. You don't have 2 different flavors as a person. You have the 1 flavor. No other flavors. Woo. Oh my god. I'm so looking forward to being able to dismantle all of this. It's gonna be fucking wonderful. 1 has been discontinued. Ah, gotcha. He was like, no, it is not fast enough. You need to go more brrr if it is my energy drink. That's at least my impression of how a F1 driver would talk about their energy drink. It has to go very brrr. Super fast. Hello, hello. What up, Ninja Mega Man? How am I enjoying Satisfactory? It's really, really nice. I love it. I've been hooked for a little while now. How you been doing, friend? Hope you've been doing well and that you've survived life. This is the furthest I've ever gotten in Satisfactory. And I kind of want to finish it just to see, like, what happens at the very end. My brother and I just started another playthrough yesterday. Ooh, nice. Nice. Been doing all right. Good to hear. I'm currently building a new mega factory. You saved the day, of course. Yeah, of course. Oh, what happens in the end? Oh, you're employee of the month. Fix-It really likes you. They might actually pay your salary. Satisfactory seems like a lot of fun, but knowing myself I would lose interest in 2 minutes because I wouldn't know what to do. Yet, honestly, like, I've tried to start this game a couple times, and it's so big, like, it gets overwhelming easily. So that's kind of why I take breaks now and then from it. Like, I recently unlocked, you can see the up there, like, complete phase 4. I don't know how to make any of those things. So I'm just, like, ignoring the blueprints and phase stuff right now. I'm just like, I want to build, I want to experiment with what I have. I want to experience this first. I've unlocked trains that I don't know how they work at all, and I want to know how they work. I want to learn. So I'm planning on, like, making this mega factory so I can sort all my shit. And after that, I'm probably gonna start building train stations for all my resources. That's probably crooked, right? It might actually be straight. I love the trains in the game. I have big plans for a train network this time. Nice. If you make a train, please name it Dick My Butt. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're definitely just gonna do polls. Like stream polls of what the names of the trains should be. And anything that isn't a racial slur will be added. Racial or sexual slur, I guess. No, anything that isn't a slur will be added. Like Dick My Butt would work. Rawr. I'm gonna fuck off. See you whenever you decide to stream again. Bye bye, Nick. Yeah, concrete is always needed, I feel. Like, I know I created in a few places, but I have no idea how much I have and where. Not right now. I can't come right now. I'm busy building stuff. It's all yours. Yeah, it is. It is all yours. You can have it. You can have my concrete. I'm generous like that. Oh shit. You know what? We might actually just force them all to go this way instead. Scritchy sketchy. Yeah, I gotta get ready soonish. There we go. X-Gamer argued that I don't need to have Mark IV belts for everything, and I would argue that he's wrong. He has to go fast. Super fast. Nice. Ad is over. Welcome back, ad viewers. You ain't missed nothing. Just me ranting and building with my belts. I'm so bad at just keeping track of when an ad is on and not. Oh my god, this is so satisfying. Oh, that's why it's called Satisfactory, because the game itself is satisfactory. Oh my gosh. For the love of God, use straight conveyor mode. No. It's so annoying. Oh wait, no, never mind. Holy shit, that is way better. Why did I not know about this before? Oh wait, this is much better. Well, guess who learned something new today? Oh my god. Alright, this is kind of pretty. Not gonna lie. Like, this all looks pretty nice, I'd say. So now all that is left to do is just fill up these stations, see where shit ends up, and then label it afterwards. I'll tell you over by me, build a factory that gives... Oh, you built a factory that gives 150 concrete per minute. Where are you? Oh, over there. Cool. Where are these yellow? Weird. That's really good, though. Thank you very much, X-Gamer. Oh, it's over there. That was very close. I gotta check this out. Oh my, he built it in here? It's not like open air? Yo, what the fuck? Okay, that is one way of making concrete. Jesus Christ. Jesus. Okay, that's kind of cool. Nice. Thank you very much, X-Gamer. I appreciate it. There we go. Of courses. Nice. No! I fell down. Shit, I entirely forgot to connect these fuckers. I made the holes, but I... See, again, the not quite ADHD, but almost strikes again. Alright, I think we're gonna finish that, and then I'm gonna end. I fell asleep listening to you and dreamt that you were here, standing next to me talking on the phone to X-Gamer. I'm sorry for not answering your dream questions, Ducky. What were they? You can ask them now, and I'll answer them. beautiful dream. Heavy modular fan. I'm really enjoying this game. Tis so nice. They all have to face the same way. Otherwise, I will die. Excuse you? Who even are you? Trying to mess everything up, are you? Oof, no, it's getting laggy in the game as well now. Is it because it's too big, or because I'm hosting for X Gamer as well? How in the hell did you get to Idaho, and why won't you let me say hi to Stony? Alright, so the way I got to Idaho was by carrier pigeon. It won't stay the way I wanted it to. Why want to do that? That's annoying. I got to Idaho by carrier pigeon. I don't want you to say hi to Stony because we don't need a flood. No, I'm just... That's a joke about genital wetness. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being who I am. It's challenging for everyone. I promise. Let's see. We're just gonna build. Yeah, carrier pigeon to Idaho. That's the way to go, Idaho. I am an attraction now. You are. Yay! Did I explode him? Almost. Oh, you wanna fight? You wanna fight? Ha! Alright, I am gonna be satisfied here with the build we've done so far. Ouchies, ouchies. Next time you see this, it might all be done, because I might build tonight as well. And not stream it. We'll see, we'll see. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being here, gang. I appreciate it all. Oh gosh, I'm tired too. Meow. Let's see who we're gonna violently raid. Let's see who is Fasu Sasu is live. My gosh, Monkey Radio is live. Roffelmau is live. We're gonna raid Fasu, I think. He's playing Ghost of Yotei. Samurai game, baby. All right. So we're gonna raid into Fasu. with him for a little while. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. I might stream tomorrow, on Monday. Who knows? I'm gonna stream soon again, I promise. Love you all. Bye.